Our story begins with a young man named Earth, a guy who lives alone because he loves isolation, and one day he is returning from work, and he decides to play a bit before sleeping. So he opens a new game, which is a virtual reality game, logs in, and starts creating a new character, naming it after himself. And since he loves isolation, he decides he will play alone and not join any group in the game, and he chooses to play with minimal equipment so he does not attract attention, and he begins his first day in the game. While walking in the city, he bumps into a group of strong players who mock him and laugh at his weak weapons, and their leader hits him and knocks him to the ground. Then they leave him and walk away. After that, Earth goes to the training hall to increase his strength a bit, trains with the bow, and manages to level up, then goes to train in wind magic and kicking skills. After finishing, he decides to go hunt a monster to test his strength, but when he arrives, he finds many people waiting for any monster to appear so they can kill it, so he decides to come back later and for now gather some herbs. Then he returns to the city again, goes to a small house to craft a set of potions, and because of that his medicine skill increases, and after finishing, he decides to finally go hunt some monsters. When he arrives there, he notices a wild rabbit moving nearby, takes out his arrow quietly and tries to hit it without being noticed, but unfortunately he misses. The rabbit notices him and attacks. He tries again and manages to hit it, then kicks it with his foot and finally kills it. Extracts the meat and fur, and Earth feels happy with himself because he managed to kill his first monster. Two people come next to him and clap, saying my name is Zophai and the girl with me is named Mealy, and they send him a friend request, and Zophai tells him we should meet again. After that, Earth goes to face another rabbit, uses wind magic, kills it, and takes the loot, then goes to another rabbit and manages to kill it faster than before. Then he returns to the city, buys a piece of bread to eat, but finds it tastes bad, so he gets the idea to cook himself, goes to a small place, prepares everything and cooks wild rabbit meat. But when he tastes it, it is bad and inedible. So he tries several different methods until he reaches the taste he wants, and the smell of his cooking attracts people who like it. They come to him to eat from his food, and Earth becomes very nervous, because he does not know how he will serve all of them. He tries but cannot keep up with their orders, but in the end he manages to serve them all and increases his cooking level. After finishing, Earth goes to craft a new bow, cuts wood and prepares it, ties the strings, completes it, increases his attack power, and decides to buy new armor. Then Earth goes to Mayan's shop to look for armor, buys one within his budget, then goes to one of the street storage boxes and places the potions he made so people can buy them, and he earns money. After that, he goes on a new hunting trip, manages to kill many monsters, then returns to the city and finds people in chaos, so he talks to Zophai to understand what happened. And he tells him that healing potions in the market are completely sold out, and now people are searching for anyone who can produce more. Suddenly, people gather around Earth and say we heard you can make healing potions. Earth gets nervous and asks Zophai to help organize the crowd, and quickly Zophai and Millie arrive and tell him you just make the potions and do not worry about anything else. We will handle the customers and collect the money. Then Earth starts making the potions and manages to produce large quantities, but unfortunately he runs out of herbs, so he apologizes and tells them to come tomorrow when he gets more. But suddenly, the gang that bullied him before appears behind him, and the leader says I will take all the potions you have right now by force. So Zophai stands in front of him to defend Earth, but the leader ignores him, hits him, and throws him aside. Earth tells him if you want my potions, pay for them. The leader gets angry and challenges Earth to a duel in front of everyone. Zophai advises Earth not to fight him, but he does not listen and accepts the fight. An arena appears around them and the battle begins. The leader draws his sword and attacks, but Earth moves quickly and shoots an arrow into his neck, defeating him easily. The rest of the gang become afraid of him, carry their leader, and run away quickly, and people cheer and chant his name. After several days, Earth goes to meet Zophai, and Zophai introduces him to his party members, and tells them we are gonna hunt a wild bear. So Earth warns him that the bear is strong, fast, and hard to defeat, but Zophai does not care about his words and proceeds with his plan. After that, they go to the forest, and Earth notices a bear walking alone at a distance, so he tells Zophai it is better to lure it away from the other bears, so we can have the advantage. Earth uses the stealth skill, stands in front of it, and shoots an arrow at it, and manages to hit it. But the bear is not affected much and becomes very angry, gathers its strength and strikes Earth with its paw. So one of the party members named Reeg steps in, uses his skill, draws the monster's attention, and blocks the attack with his strong defense to stall it so the others can attack. Millie moves closer to Reeg and uses healing magic on him to recover him, and all the members including Zophai try to attack the bear, but without any result. Earth tries to shoot an arrow between its eyes because it is a weak point, but the thickness of the bear's skin is tough and the arrow does not fully pierce it, so Earth uses wind magic, jumps into the air, kicks the arrow with his foot, and drives it completely into its body, and quickly Millie uses fire magic and manages to burn the monster to death. After a while, Earth goes on a hunting trip alone and manages to kill a wild lion, and while walking he encounters a giant bee coming toward him. So he shoots arrows at it, but unfortunately he hits a rock ant, which uses its skill and summons many ants, so he decides to fight because he cannot escape them, and when he lunges at one to attack, it uses its power to electrocute him and paralyze him, and they attack him together and kill him. After that, Earth returns to the city after dying in the battle, and finds that the game administrators have sent a message to all players saying that a big update is coming soon called the Fairy Crystal. And these fairies will help during battles, and there will be new skills and tools. After a while, Earth manages to learn how to become a blacksmith, and decides to craft arrowheads to increase his damage, and also crafts boots to increase the power of his kick, then goes to Mayan and to buy bowstrings for his bow. He begins the steps of crafting the bow, and after finishing it, he greatly increases his power and decides to test it in hunting runs. After some time he reaches the forest and encounters a rock ant walking alone, makes sure it is not connected to others, uses the arrow cyclone skill, throws it at her and manages to immobilize it, then quickly attacks with another arrow and kills it, takes its loot, and returns to the city again. On the next day, a message appears from the game administrators to the players announcing that the Fairy Crystal event has started. And its first half includes forming contracts with fairies. So when Earth receives a contract crystal he becomes happy, and begins performing the required ritual to summon a fairy. The crystal moves and many colors come out of it, but suddenly half of the crystal breaks, and Earth fails to form a contract, leaving him shocked and very sad. After that, he goes to Zophai and his party and tells them what happened while he is sad, and becomes more shocked when he learns that all members of Zophai's party have formed contracts with fairies, and he falls to the ground from sadness. Then Millie tells him there is no need to be upset. The administrators said the first half of the event, which means there is a second half, and also your crystal did not disappear, which means you surely have another chance to form a contract with a fairy. So Earth becomes happy and hope returns to him again. After a while, Earth is sitting alone for a bit, and suddenly a small fairy comes to him. So Earth says in surprise, lately fairies have been liking me a lot. But honestly I do not know why, and he opens his status to check his level, and finds that his strength has increased noticeably, and a new skill gets unlocked for him. After that, Earth goes to a dungeon to test his level, and as soon as he enters, he sees a trap set in the middle of the path, avoids it, and continues forward, and suddenly encounters a giant spider in front of him, quickly shoots it with an arrow, and uses wind magic to try to kill it, but the spider does not die and attacks him. So Earth jumps into the air, dodges its attack, binds it with his whip, kicks it in the face and kills it. Suddenly, some fairies appear in front of him and start moving forward, so Earth decides to follow them, keeps walking behind them and crossing slopes, and when he reaches the end of the path, he finds a large group of them gathered at a specific point, goes there and notices a giant rock, removes it immediately, and finds a hidden door behind it, and when he opens it, he sees a small chest with a strange ring inside, so he thanks the fairies and leaves. On the next day, it is officially announced that the second half of the event has begun, and the announcement says you can upgrade your fairies through participating or winning in player versus player battles, and you can also repair your broken crystals, and the top 16 players will enter a grand tournament and each one will also receive a title. After that, Earth walks in the city and notices that people are looking at him with unpleasant expressions, so he opens his status to see what is going on, and finds that he has a title called Fairy Favorite, and it says to change this title you must enter a player versus player battle during the event. So Earth is shocked, falls to the ground, and laments his luck, then quickly gets up and begs people to fight him so he can change it. A girl comes from afar and offers him a duel. Earth becomes happy and thanks her for her help, and is about to accept the fight, but suddenly the girl's fairy interferes and cancels the duel request. Earth is shocked and begs someone else among those present to fight him, but unfortunately no one responds. After a while Earth is cooking large amounts of food and receives a call from the girl asking for his advice because her fairy refuses to eat, so he tells her you want me to cook for her, right? Then raises his voice saying most players are facing the same problem, and I am currently cooking for all of them. And all of this happened because of one person. We go back to the past, where a player comes to him and says every time I feed my fairy she does not accept, so I am asking you to cook for her, because you are the best cook in the game. Earth agrees immediately with good intentions, and the man thanks him for helping. And since then this problem started appearing among players, and they began going to Earth to cook for them. We return to the present again, and Earth manages to cook for everyone after the girl comes to him and helps him, and she is happy because he gives her some food for her fairy, thanks him, and tells him if you are free let us go for a walk. After that, the two of them go to the city and see an arena where two players are fighting. Many people are gathered around watching them, so they move closer to watch as well. The battle between the players begins. The owner of the bird fairy attacks using wind magic, but the owner of the wolf fairy manages to block it, and orders his fairy to attack with fire magic. But she completely ignores him and does not listen, and at the same time the bird fairy manages to paralyze the man, and the player attacks him with his sword and wins. The girl is surprised when she sees this fight and asks Earth what happened. He replies because he is a fairy abuser, which is a term used for anyone who mistreats their fairy. That is why she did not listen to him. The man gets up from the ground and becomes angry at his wolf fairy to the point he almost hits her. Earth is shocked and says this man is about to do something dangerous. I saw a video online of someone hitting his fairy and blaming her for not protecting him in battle. And suddenly that fairy grows very large in size, looks at him angrily, goes toward him and takes his contract crystal. But at the last moment the man stops himself and does not hit the wolf fairy, and then leaves. On the next day, the man with the wolf fairy goes to Earth and tells him I want to talk to you, because you have the fairy favorite title. I want to know how to reconcile with my fairy. I saw the video of the person hitting his fairy and thought, if I became like him I might lose her. Earth asks him why were you harsh with her from the beginning. He replies I did not know much about fairies. I only saw videos of people saying you must be strict with your fairy so she obeys you. But unfortunately that did not work. Please give me any advice and I will pay you money. Earth tells him the first thing to do as your friend is go out with her and reward her. Treat her well so she listens to you again, and you can also feed her yourself. So Earth cooks some food for him to give to her. The man takes the food and offers it to the fairy. She takes it and eats, then he approaches her and hugs her, thanks Earth with tears, shakes his hand, and leaves. Suddenly, a mysterious person appears behind him, calls out to him, and says I need to talk to you for a bit, come with me to a place where we can be alone. And Earth actually responds to him and goes with him to his house. So the man tells him my assistant in my party is targeting anyone who has the fairy favorite title. We were facing a problem with his bad behavior recently, because he was arrogant and belittled everyone in the party. But at the same time he was a very skilled adventurer. But when the current event started, he was the only one who failed to form a contract with a fairy. So he became very angry and started lashing out at anyone around him. And as the party leader I had no choice but to expel him. But unfortunately after the second half of the event he managed to obtain another crystal, and was able to form a contract with a dark fairy. And now he goes around the streets challenging people in player versus player battles, and he will use the tournament to show all his power in front of people. So that is why I am warning you about him. Earth thanks him for the warning and promises him he will be careful. On the next day, Earth goes to hunt a wild bear alone, waits for the right moment and shoots it in the head, but the bear does not die and becomes enraged and charges at Earth. So he uses his skill and fires 3 arrows at once, binds it with his whip, kicks it with his leg, and manages to kill it. After that, Earth goes to a mine to extract minerals so he can craft equipment from them. And while he is putting in great effort mining, he finds an explosive ore in front of him. He is shocked when he sees it and warns the others. So they quickly hide and try to protect themselves, but fortunately Earth manages to extract it without it exploding, because if it had exploded it would have destroyed almost everything around it. Then Earth goes to the blacksmith workshop to begin crafting tools, starts with the first arrow, but faces difficulty making it, yet he does not give up and keeps trying all night, and in the end he succeeds in crafting a new arrowhead. Then he starts making the whip, puts in great effort in crafting it, and finally succeeds in making it. Then says goodbye to the blacksmith and leaves. He goes to a shop to use its cellar, because he wants to create chemical materials from the explosive ore, prepares the materials from minerals and herbs, and manages to produce explosive oils with different intensities. He goes to an empty land to test these oils, starts with the first one, and when he throws it on the ground he finds it weak and not useful. So he tries the second type, and when he throws it, it creates a massive explosion, to the point that it causes severe damage to Earth. Then he tries the last type and finds the suitable oil for battles. After that, he goes to hunt wild bears, throws the explosive oil at them, then shoots them with his arrows, uses his kicking skill, wind magic, and the metal whip, and manages to kill 3 bears at once. After a while, he goes to Mayan so she can make him a new cloak, gives her materials from the wild bear, and suddenly an announcement comes from the game administrators announcing the top 16 current players who will go to the grand tournament. Among them are the party leader who warned Earth and his arrogant assistant, and when Earth hears about them he says there will definitely be a strong confrontation between them. On the next day the grand tournament begins, and there is a large crowd of people gathering to witness the intense battles, and the fights begin one after another until they reach the final, which is between the party leader and his assistant. The battle begins and the two clash with each other, engaging in a fierce fight, and at the same time there is another battle between the leader's fairy and the assistant's fairy, and both sides attack each other with their magic, causing a huge explosion in the area. The leader charges at him and uses his skill, but the assistant easily dodges it and activates his special skill on him, and manages to win the battle in the end. Suddenly, the assistant's dark fairy transforms into a girl and tells him, "Now I will break the contract between us. The purpose of this event is to choose a new ruler for the fairies, and now that I have won the tournament, I have become the new ruler. All this time I was just using you, you were nothing more than a tool. I will leave you now because our contract has ended. I will give you money and also the tournament reward, and I will have another fairy form a contract with you instead of me." He says to her in shock, "I will never accept what just happened. I am not a tool in anyone's hands. I will use force with you and teach you how to treat me properly after this." She replies, "Then come, let us enter a battle. If you manage to defeat me I will obey you, but if you lose then you will not receive any rewards from me." The battle between them begins, and the fairy queen uses the power of wind, water, and fire, striking the assistant of the leader, causing a massive explosion. But the assistant emerges unharmed, charges at her and tries to hit her, but she jumps over him, touches him, uses a shock skill to electrocute him, summons a giant fireball, calls lightning from the sky and strikes him. The assistant falls to the ground, and she continues attacking him until she defeats him and tells him, "Now you have lost everything." Anyway, there are still 3 people who have not received their rewards, and the queen summons them immediately. And the surprise is that Earth is among them, and she tells them, "I thank you for refusing to fight in player versus player battles and giving up the chance to evolve your fairies, so I will evolve them myself. And as for Earth, I will make you fight me in a 1-on-1 battle," and Earth is shocked. She tells him, "You were not able to form a contract with a fairy, and because of that I cannot reward you by evolving your fairy like them. So that is why I wanted you to fight me, and whether you win or not, I will give you some of my power." After that the battle between them begins, and Earth runs around her to distract her, throwing his arrows at her, but the queen manages to block them, and uses fire magic on him, but Earth dodges the attack and throws an arrow at her and hits her. Immediately the queen uses wind magic and charges at him to strike him, but Earth already knows what she is doing because he watched her fight against the assistant of the leader, and he throws a poison gas potion at her, jumps into the air and throws explosive oils at her. Suddenly she creates a barrier around herself so Earth cannot attack her, so he uses the invisibility skill, and the queen loses her sense of him, and she is forced to remove the barrier and initiate the attack herself, but she is shocked when she does not find him in front of her. Suddenly he comes from behind her and grabs her with the whip, attacks her and knocks her to the ground, uses almost all his bow skills, throws arrows at her with all his strength, kicks her with his leg, and manages to defeat her in the end. All the audience cheers Earth's name, and the queen tells him, "You truly managed to defeat me. Now it is time for the reward. Bring your broken crystal and the fairy king ring." The queen performs some strange rituals, creates a ring and puts it on him, and tells him, "This way I will be officially bound to you." He tries to remove it from his hand because he wants to play alone, but suddenly a message appears in front of him saying the ring cannot be removed, and Earth becomes sad. After a while, Earth walks in the city among people, and hears them talking about him, and about his last battle with the fairy queen, but he feels upset because he does not want to attract attention, and decides to go hunt some animals, looks at the ring while walking, and remembers the fairy queen's words about a dangerous spell that Earth can use on monsters. After that he goes to hunt a wild bear, and when he stands in front of it he binds it with the whip, and starts chanting to activate the spell. A green light comes out of the ring, and from the sky a giant glowing sphere descends onto it and turns it into a metallic body. On the next day, Earth goes to the blacksmith to upgrade his equipment, starts first with upgrading the bow, cuts the suitable wood, prepares the metal that he will attach to the bow, and after finishing it he moves to his boots, uses a light metal to increase his speed, makes steel spikes to make them stronger, and creates sharp edges at the front of the boots so that the kicking skill causes higher damage. After that he goes to Mayan to take the cloak he ordered from her, and finds that his defenses have increased significantly. So Earth thanks her very much for what she did, and suddenly he receives a message from the leader of the Archer Guild asking to meet him. After several days, a new announcement appears from the game, saying that a new event will appear today. It is a random dungeon. Every time you enter it, it will be a completely new experience. It contains many traps and monsters, and if you manage to finish all 10 floors of the dungeon within 1 hour, you will win a very large reward. Earth gets excited about this update and prepares to enter it. After that, Earth goes to hunt some animals so he can train well and be ready to enter the dungeon and win it. He attacks the white wolf alone, as well as the rock ant, and he manages to kill them easily using his skill. He also collects materials from them to increase the strength of his equipment. Then he goes to the blacksmith to craft new tools, and he spends the whole night putting in effort. Finally, he makes armor to increase his defense, and he also installs a small bow into the armor so he can use it to shoot arrows in case his main bow gets destroyed. After the dungeon update officially opens, Earth goes there and finds a large number of people waiting. Suddenly, one of the parties calls out to him and introduces themselves. The one in red tells him, "We want you to join us as we head into the dungeon so we can complete our team." Earth thinks for a bit and agrees to go with them. They begin their journey inside the dungeon, but before moving, Earth activates his vision skill. He is able to detect exactly where the traps are and warns the rest of the group so they can be careful. They continue walking carefully, and suddenly they encounter a group of monsters. They all charge at them and manage to kill them. Then they decide to descend to the second floor of the dungeon. However, they have already wasted a lot of time on the first floor, and only a little time remains from the hour. They move quickly on the second floor and encounter ghosts and skeletons. Everyone prepares to face them, and the mage begins attacking with her magic, killing a large number of ghosts. Then the one in yellow attacks a ghost with his axe. But the ghost does not die and comes back again, shocking him. Quickly, Earth strikes it with wind magic and kills it, telling the yellow one that ghosts like these cannot be killed with normal attacks. After finishing off the monsters, they finally reach the third floor. As soon as they go down, they feel something unnatural. Suddenly, they hear screams coming from behind a door in front of them. Without thinking, they rush in to help, but as soon as they all enter, the door suddenly shuts behind them, trapping them inside. They cannot get out unless they kill all the monsters and ghosts present. They team up with the group they came to save so they can pass this stage together. Everyone uses their strength and skills to fight, and they manage to kill all the enemies. The doors open afterward, and the other team thanks them for their help. Suddenly, a chest containing a reward appears. One of the other team members goes to open it, but Earth quickly activates his vision skill and realizes it is a deadly trap. He calls out and warns him, but the man laughs and says, "Don't underestimate me. I also have a vision skill, and I know this chest is safe." Earth replies, "Fine, we'll leave the chest to you, but on one condition, don't open it until we leave." As soon as they exit the room, the other team actually opens the chest. It explodes on them and kills them all. Suddenly, the dungeon time ends, and it begins to disappear. They also vanish from it, and are expelled outside. After they get out, the party thanks Earth for joining them and suggests entering again at another time. They say their goodbyes, and everyone goes their separate ways. After that, Earth goes to the blacksmith and says, "I want to make a tool that can disarm traps quickly." The blacksmith crafts a perfect one for him, and Earth thanks him for his help. After several days, Earth was going to the dungeon almost every day to train on disarming traps without dying, because he wanted to reach the 10th floor in less than an hour. After that, Earth goes to the dungeon once he has trained well and become able to disarm traps easily. He also uses his stealth skill to pass by monsters without them seeing him. After a while, he manages to reach the 9th floor, but the time he has left is very short. He runs quickly and hides from one of the powerful monsters using his thief skill. Then he searches everywhere for the stairs until he enters a room and finds an abnormal number of traps, and at the end of it, the opening that leads to the stairs. Unfortunately, he does not have enough time to disable these traps, so Earth uses his long-distance jump skill to land exactly on the opening. But unfortunately, he steps on a trap. However, he manages to enter the opening before it explodes and kills him. As soon as he reaches the stairs, he is surprised that the dungeon has not ended. When he checks what happened, he finds that the time stopped counting at the last 2 seconds. Earth sits down to rest a bit and drinks a healing potion to restore his health. then quickly gets up to reach the monster boss. While he is descending, he hears a monster's voice saying, "I didn't expect anyone to reach this stage. I am a knight of an ancient empire. The stairs you are on are very long, so I will tell you my story until you arrive. My kingdom ordered me to investigate this strange dungeon, and I was the leader of a great army on this journey. Unfortunately, the monsters and traps wiped them all out, and in the end, I was the only one who reached the last room in the dungeon. Sadly, I found nothing there, not even air to breathe. I died there, turned into a skeleton, and was forced to guard this floor. Anyway, you will find me waiting for you below, and I want you to kill me. I endured all this time because I did not want my heart to turn into a monster, but I could not hold on." While the knight is speaking, the stairs suddenly disappear from under Earth, causing him to fall heavily to the ground. When Earth opens his eyes, he finds that the knight has turned into a monster and is waiting for him. He quickly gets up and shoots an arrow at him, but the monster suddenly lunges and strikes him with a sword. Earth is shocked by his speed, then waits for his next attack and throws explosive oil at him. He steps back, fires another arrow, and hits him. The monster becomes enraged, swings his sword toward him, breaks part of Earth's bow and throws it away. The monster says, "I think you won't be able to attack me anymore. I suggest you surrender now." Earth replies, "I still have a weapon I can use against you," then prepares his armor and uses it as a bow. He fires an arrow at high speed, but suddenly the monster uses his skill and rushes forward at great speed to ambush Earth. He strikes him hard, slams him into the wall, and uses a stun ability so Earth cannot move. But suddenly, Earth manages to move, dodges the attack, and catches the monster off guard. He kicks him in the face, rushes forward, and quickly throws a type of oil at him to restrict his movement. Then he points his ring at him to activate a powerful spell and chants its incantation. The monster tries to move with difficulty to strike him before the spell activates, but Earth manages to cast it on him. However, the spell only has a slight effect on the monster. He says, "You will pay for what you did," while Earth is sitting on the ground, unable to fight anymore and ready to accept his inevitable fate. Suddenly, the fairy queen appears in front of the monster, points her wand at him, and sends massive amounts of ice, trapping him in a giant block. She looks at Earth, smiles, and then leaves. Earth thanks her, quickly gets up, retrieves his bow, and activates every skill he can use at once. He also throws explosive oils at the monster and manages to finish him off. The knight reappears after Earth frees him and says, "You managed to defeat me before I fully transformed. You have given me time to thank you, and as a reward I will give you my sword." Then the knight leaves with his soldiers. Suddenly, the dungeon exit door opens, and a new announcement appears in the game, saying that one of the secret dungeon bosses has been defeated. Because of that, a new weapon will be revealed called the Knight's Sword, which is a stronger version than any other sword. The next day, Earth meets Zophai and his party after they invited him to enter the dungeon together. Zophai tells him, "We thank you for coming with us. Some members of the party apologized for not attending today, so we contacted you and a new mage." After a while the new mage arrives. Zophai gets annoyed and tells her, "You're later than necessary. We won't wait for you like this every time." After he calms down, he introduces her to Earth. Earth smiles at her, but the mage looks at him sarcastically and says he's an archer. He looks very weak. Are you sure he can even be useful to us? Then they enter the dungeon, and Earth manages to disable one of the traps and saves the party. They continue on their path and manage to reach the 5th floor. They decide to take a short rest before continuing, but the mage objects and tells them, "We don't have time to rest. We must continue and finish the entire dungeon." While they are standing, Earth feels that many monsters are approaching. They all prepare to fight, but when they look at the mage, they find her trembling from fear, because of the ghosts that will attack them. Zophai tells her, "Attack them with your magic, and we'll handle the rest." Earth pulls out his bow and shoots arrows at them, and both the mage and melee attack with their magic. They manage to kill many of them, but stronger ghosts appear. Rig steps forward and activates defensive magic to block their attacks, while the rest of the members use the time to attack and manage to kill one of the strong ghosts. Suddenly, Rig gets injured in his arm, and can't hold his shield. The ghosts immediately attack them, and they ask the mage to heal him before they die. She tries to cast her magic, but a ghost suddenly appears in front of her, and she becomes so scared that she can't speak. One of the members attacks the ghost and asks her to cast quickly, but she is still afraid and unable to speak. Quickly, Earth throws his oils at the ghosts. The mage rushes to Rig and begins healing his arm. Rig regains his health and they all gather together and attack the enemies to kill them. After a while Earth and the party manage to kill all the enemies. The mage apologizes to Earth for what she said earlier. Earth smiles at her and forgives her. At night, they manage to exit the dungeon alive. Zophai thanks Earth and tells him, "Without you we wouldn't have reached this stage. You were very helpful today." Earth smiles at him, says goodbye, and leaves. The next day Earth is standing and looking at the new weapons. Suddenly a strange girl appears in front of him. Earth looks at her, surprised by her appearance and clothes. She tells him, "I am the younger sister of the Fairy Queen. My sister told me that you cook the most delicious food, so I came to taste it." Earth refuses and tells her, "I'm not free today." The girl says sadly, "I don't get many chances to go outside. I wanted to take a tour in the city before I leave." Earth is forced to agree even though he doesn't want to. Then Earth takes her and they go to Mayan. He gives her the robe to fix it. She tells him, "Unfortunately, it can't be repaired at all because it was heavily damaged. It's better for you to buy a new robe." Earth asks her to make one for him and gives her bare fur and the body of a rock ant. Then the two of them go to have lunch. The Fairy Queen's sister is excited to taste his cooking, and when she eats, she finds it very delicious. She thanks him for the meal. While they are sitting, suddenly an announcement appears from the game. At night, Earth goes to the blacksmith and asks him, "Did you see the announcement? Now we are supposed to specialize in one style in the game, either physical skills or magical skills." The blacksmith replies, "So what will you do now? They gave us a month to reset our skills. You'll face problems in battles if you don't do it." After some time Earth goes to receive his robe from Mayan. As soon as he sees it, he becomes very happy. She tells him, "What do you think? The materials you brought were of high quality." After that, Earth leaves Mayan. While walking in the street he meets the Fairy Queen with some other fairies. She tells him, "There's something important I need to tell you. Unfortunately, you won't be able to form a contract with a fairy as I promised. I wanted you to choose from the 6 greatest fairies, but the citizens found out what would happen. So they came to my gate and protested because they want to form a contract with you. As the Fairy Queen, I can't ignore the will of my people. If a fairy makes a contract with you, the whole country will fall into chaos." Earth replies, "It's fine. I'll try to adapt to the current situation." The Queen thanks him for understanding and tells him, "I will give you some skills as a reward." She asks him to give her his hand, and when she touches it, she begins transferring power. She says, "I will give you 2 skills now. The first is falling 7 stars and the second is sacrifice bow. But be careful, this technique is very dangerous because it merges your life, your magic, and all your emotions into a single arrow strike. It's best not to use it except in the best conditions. I ask you to keep what happened between us a secret. I heard in the latest game announcement that the path to the Fairy Kingdom will open soon. I will be waiting for you to come." Earth thanks her and promises that he will come when the event begins. After that, Earth goes and meets Zophai and his party while he is cooking for his customers. One of the party members says, "We must recruit members for our guild so we can raise our level a bit and become a recognized guild. But first we should discipline the mage who is often absent and doesn't respect time, so no new member is influenced by her actions." Zophai offers Earth to join their guild, but Earth refuses as usual and says to himself, "Honestly, I don't want anyone to know about the Fairy Queen and her sister." Suddenly, the Queen's sister appears because of the smell of the food Earth is cooking and asks him to eat that food. But Earth refuses because the food is for customers. They keep arguing with each other in front of Zophai's party. After a while, the Fairy Kingdom event begins, and Earth walks on the path leading to the kingdom. When he reaches the northern gate, he finds a very long line at the entrance. One of the kingdom workers approaches him and asks to see his ring. When Earth shows it, the worker recognizes him and says, "I am responsible for the northern gate. The queen asked us to send you to her immediately," and he calls a bird to take him. Suddenly, a giant bird arrives and stands in front of Earth. The official says, "This bird allows only a few people to ride on its back, and it will make you move very fast." Earth rides on its back and prepares to depart. As soon as it flies, Earth feels an unusual happiness because he feels like he is inside a fantasy story. At sunset, Earth arrives at the Fairy Queen's castle and finds the Queen standing waiting for him. She tells him, "We made a small party for you." The party begins and Earth rides the bird again, moving among the people as they celebrate him. Earth says, "I don't like being in the spotlight, but honestly I'm happy with this atmosphere." He greets the people, watches the fireworks, and says, "Even if it's a game, I'm surely the only one who will live this experience, so I must enjoy it. Yes, all of this is fantasy, not real, but it will leave beautiful memories." The next day, Earth stands in front of the Queen at her throne and thanks her for yesterday's party, saying, "But there was no need for you to do all that. I will go explore the country before returning to the city. Then Earth goes north to avoid the crowd of players and explore the city better. He goes to a club and asks to cook food himself. After a while, Earth prepares the food and manages to create several new dishes. He sits to eat them all and enjoy the food alone, but suddenly he sees some people standing in front of him, coming toward him because they smelled the delicious food. After that, Earth starts cooking for the entire club, and all the people are happy and pleased with the taste of the food. Earth is also happy while cooking for them. Suddenly, one of the fairies enters and says loudly, "Hide Earth immediately. The daughter of the city official is coming now." Earth quickly hides under the table. The girl enters and says, "I heard there is a human here cooking delicious food. Bring him now. I will grant him the honor of working for me as a chef." The waitress replies, "Unfortunately, he left earlier." The girl says, "I know he was here. Are you sure he left? You will be tortured if I find out you're lying. I know it's impossible for him to refuse working for me." The waitress replies, "He told me he had urgent work in the east, so he left quickly." The official's daughter orders the people with her to search for him everywhere. Then she leaves. After she leaves, the waitress goes to Earth and tells him, "She left. I'm sorry for what happened. Be careful next time because that girl has her eyes on you. Unfortunately, none of us can talk to her because of her father. He won't punish her for her selfishness. Instead, he will punish us." At night, Earth hides his identity with clothes so no one recognizes him. When he reaches the exit gate, he meets two guards. One of them says, "You're Earth, right? We heard what happened. Come back when things calm down." He opens the gate for him to leave. Earth thanks them and leaves immediately. While he is running, he meets a fairy bear that tells him, "Climb on my back. I will take you to the city you want. I tasted your cooking and it was delicious. This is a token of thanks for your food." Earth rides on its back and they move together. At the same time in the castle, the queen's servant stands before her and says, "We received news from the citizens that the official's daughter is acting arrogantly and oppressing people because of her authority, and she also behaved badly with Earth." The queen slams her hand on the table in anger and vows to deal with them. The next day, the two of them arrive at the second city. Earth thanks him for bringing him, and suddenly he feels sleepy, so the bear tells him, "I know a hotel I always go to." After that, they go to the hotel and book 2 rooms for themselves. Earth says goodbye to him and goes inside to sleep for a while. He lies on the bed and says, "I was lucky that a fairy brought me here." After a while, Earth wakes up from sleep and is excited to start exploring the city. Suddenly, Earth feels that he cannot move, and he is surprised that the fairy queen is in front of him. She tells him, "It has been a long time since I saw you. I came here to apologize for what happened to you. I punished the man responsible for the city, his daughter, and all the soldiers who were with her. I summoned them to a special area and kept torturing them to ruin their minds." After that, the bear goes to Earth and they talk together for a while. Suddenly, a woman knocks on the door and enters, telling the bear in fear, "My daughter disappeared, and I want you to find her for me." Earth tries to calm her down to understand what happened. The woman says, "I apologize for being in panic. My daughter always walks at the same time every day, but today she did not return home at all. I went out and searched for her everywhere." The bear tells her, "I know you can transform into a wolf form whenever you want. Even if a monster attacked her, no one could harm her." She replies, "That is why I feel something dangerous happened." She gives them a picture of her daughter, and Earth and the bear agree to help her. After that, the two of them go down to the street, ask people about the girl and search for her everywhere. Then they walk into the forest to search there. Earth feels the presence of monsters, and suddenly a group of goblins jumps on them. The two of them cooperate and manage to kill them all. Then Earth opens the menu to see the locations of other monsters. He actually sees a group of monsters and something strange beside them. Earth climbs onto the bear's back, and they run quickly toward the place. They find the woman's daughter surrounded by monsters, and she has severe injuries. After that, Earth shoots an arrow at a monster and kills it before it hits the girl. Then the bear charges at them and kills them one after another. They save the girl from the monsters. Earth quickly throws a healing potion on her and treats her wounds. Then they attack the remaining monsters and eliminate them all. After a while, the girl thanks them for saving her life. The bear asks her, "Why didn't you transform when the monsters attacked you?" She replies, "I was walking normally like every day. Then I smelled a very nice scent. Suddenly everything turned into fog before me, and soon I found myself surrounded by monsters. For some reason I couldn't transform." Earth gives her another healing potion to drink and asks her to transform afterward. When she drinks it, she immediately turns into a wolf. The girl becomes very happy. Earth says, "I was sure someone poisoned her. I gave her an antidote." Then Earth tells her, "Return to your human form and let the bear take you back to the city. I will rest a bit and then go." After they leave, Earth calls out and says, "How long will you keep hiding? I felt something strange from the moment I arrived. Also, those monsters had strong equipment, and there is the poison given to the girl." Earth throws explosive oil on dense grass, revealing a man hiding there. Earth asks him, "Who sent you, or did you do this on your own? If I let you go now, you will ruin the relationship between humans and fairies and cause a big war between the two races." The man pulls out his dagger and attacks quickly to kill him, but suddenly Earth disappears and appears behind him, kicking him hard in the back and throwing him away. The man says, "Why are you doing this? I am human and they are fairies. You should side with me." Earth replies, "I don't want a war between us. We should hold hands and live a better life." The man screams and suddenly dies, so Earth leaves. While returning to the city, Earth meets the bear and the girl waiting for him. Earth asks them, "Why didn't you leave?" The bear replies, "Honestly, I wanted to see what you would do, but now I saw everything. Come on, get on my back so we can return." After that, the three of them return to the city. The girl goes to her mother and hugs her tightly. The woman thanks them for saving her daughter, then lets them out of the room to rest a bit. He summons the queen to talk with her about what happened today. After Earth tells her what happened, the queen thanks him for his proper action and says, "I will try to act so this does not happen again. Thanks to you, we will not enter a war." The next day, Earth goes to the hotel owners and says goodbye because he is leaving. While they are talking, they meet the bear and the girl he saved coming down the stairs after becoming friends. The bear says, "She asked me to visit her family." Earth extends his hand to greet him, then says goodbye and leaves. Earth calls the bird to return to his city again, rides on its back, and prepares for his journey. After a while, Earth asks it to land aside, then stops to prepare special food for it to thank it for the ride. The bird becomes very happy, eats eagerly, thanks Earth for the food and gives him a feather that enhances offensive abilities. Then the bird flies away. At sunset, Earth goes to the blacksmith. He asks him, "You haven't come for several days, where have you been?" Earth replies, "I was visiting the fairy kingdom, but now I need some new equipment, so I came back." After that, he sits and crafts a new bow. The next day, Earth goes to the forest to test his bow, but while walking, he hears a strange sound from afar. He runs quickly toward it to see what is happening and finds 4 dead men, and in the middle of them a small dragon that has just hatched from an egg. So Earth carries him and decides that he will search for his family, but he feels like he wants something from him, yet he doesn't understand what it is, and he takes out a piece of meat from what he has and gives it to him. So the dragon takes it and eats it. So Earth starts thinking what he will do with him, and he says, "If I return to the city, everyone will stare at me. I could go to the fairy kingdom, but there's a high chance I might cause trouble there." After that, Earth sits down first to cook food for himself, but he finds the dragon getting close to him and asking to eat with him. So Earth actually gives him the food, but because it's so delicious the dragon finishes all of it. Then he goes to sleep, so Earth looks at him shocked by the amount of food he ate, and he summons the queen to see a solution for this dragon. When the queen sees him, she gets very scared, and asks him, "What are you doing with a small red dragon like this?" So Earth tells her what happened. So she tells him this is a big problem indeed. Wild dragons do not leave the borders of their kingdom, so they don't get into conflict with other races. So Earth asks her, "Are wild dragons different from normal dragons?" She replies, "Both types are very powerful. Wild dragons cannot control their power, and they are forced to isolate themselves in distant places. And the bigger problem is that this dragon is from the royal family, and he was kidnapped from them. And if they find out about this, none of us knows what they will do." And suddenly one of the queen's maids arrives, and tells her, "We are in a big problem. There are red dragons heading here at high speed. You are supposed to return to the castle." And suddenly the maid notices the small red dragon, and shouts loudly saying, "What are you doing? How could you kidnap a small dragon?" So she replies, "I got involved in this situation, but I will handle it." After that, Earth carries the dragon on his head and stands with the queen waiting for the dragons, and as soon as they arrive, Earth gets scared from their massive size. So the dragon asks him, "Are you the one who kidnapped our child?" So the queen tries to explain the story to them, but the dragon shouts at her saying, "Stay out of it, we are talking to him." So Earth speaks and tells them, "I'm not the one who kidnapped him. There was a group of humans who kidnapped him, but they died. I just found him and took care of him." But the dragon doesn't believe him, and asks him to bring his child so he can know the truth. So when Earth gives him to him, the dragon thanks him, and tells him, "I saw the child's memories now, and found you are telling the truth. I will grant you any request you want right now." So Earth tells him, "I want no one to hold the fairy kingdom responsible, and also don't mention to anyone that we met, because I don't like drawing attention." So the dragon agrees and leaves with his child. After that, the queen thanks him for saving the fairy kingdom and asks him to come with her to the castle so she can reward him. But Earth refuses and tells her I will go to the eastern city to look for a job. So the queen calls for the bird to take Earth and promises him she won't tell anyone. So Earth says goodbye to her and leaves. Then when Earth arrives there, he finds that there are no jobs in the city at all. So an old woman comes to him and tells him there were many jobs, but unfortunately they were all taken. But I have a job for you. At night, Earth works as a waiter in a cafe and washes dishes and also cooks. And after he finishes his day, Earth is very exhausted and tired. So the woman comes to him and tells him you were amazing at work today and gives him his money. So Earth takes it and thanks her and leaves immediately to go sleep. After a while, Earth is sitting on the ground to rest and says a long time has passed since things became this calm. Finally I return to being alone again. After that Earth goes and meets the queen and a strange man and asks her why did you ask me to meet you? So the man with her speaks and tells him I am a green dragon and I came from the dragon kingdom. So Earth asks him surprised, but I know your race tries to avoid interacting with other races. He replies we green dragons are different, we are less powerful than other wild dragons. But we are much faster and more agile, and we can also take human forms. I came here because there is a problem with the small dragon. When he returned to the kingdom he completely stopped eating, and for him to grow and become a strong wild dragon he must eat large amounts of food. But now he doesn't even eat half the amount. And not only that, he came to me and asked to transform into a human. That's why I came to you to know what the problem is. So Earth tells him when I first saw him he was eating a lot. Then the queen raises her hand and tells him you definitely fed him from your cooking. That's why he liked it so much and stopped eating any other food. So Earth cooks some food and lets the green dragon taste it, and he finds it delicious, and says now I understand why the small dragon stopped eating anything. Then the dragon stands and asks him to cook more food so he can take it with him, and begs him because he cannot return without the food. After Earth cooks the amounts he wants, the dragon thanks him for what he did, and leaves quickly to feed the small dragon. So Earth asks the queen, didn't you say wild dragons don't interact with other races? So she replies that's how it's supposed to be. But it seems you managed to change their habits. So Earth suddenly feels exhausted, and goes to sleep and says goodbye to the queen and leaves immediately. On the other side, the dragons stand in front of the small dragon while he eats greedily, and the king asks what exactly is happening. I don't understand anything. So the green dragon replies this is human cooking. After several days the green dragon tries to make food like Earth, but he fails every time, and the food tastes very bad. And at the same time another green dragon is watching him, and decides that he will go to Earth to learn from him. So he gets himself together and actually goes there and transforms into his human form, and at the same time Earth is walking around in the fairy kingdom, and while he is walking among the people, he runs into this green dragon face to face. So the dragon stops him and asks are you Earth? So he replies no that's not me, you got the wrong person. And he says to himself I have the ability to distinguish between a normal person and a wild dragon. I don't want to get involved with them again. I won't cook for the small red dragon. I want to live my life and increase my level. After that, Earth goes to check out a helmet and also some herbs in the market, and suddenly he runs into the fairy queen along with the green dragon. So the dragon puts his hand on his shoulder and tells him so you turned out to be Earth after all. So Earth quickly activates the giant leap skill and flies away from them fast, and runs quickly to the hotel to go sleep, and goes to the employee working there and takes a room from him, and enters it quickly and closes the door. And after he rests on the bed, he says I can't stay in the fairy kingdom anymore. On the next day, Earth goes to the employee and thanks him for giving him the room. So the employee asks him what did you do? The queen issued an order for your arrest. So Earth looks behind him and finds his picture placed there, and written on it if you find this person arrest him immediately. So Earth gets extremely angry. Immediately he goes to the queen's palace and kicks the door hard, and enters while he is in a state of intense anger, and finds her sitting with the green dragon, and tells her I didn't expect it would reach the point where you issue an order for my arrest. You've gone too far with me. So the queen tries to explain the situation, but Earth interrupts her due to his anger, and tells her I'm disappointed in you, and gets closer to her, and tells her I want you to remove the ring from my hand immediately. You are the one who forced it on me, and you are the one who can remove it. Then he directs his words to the green dragon, and tells him I will not cook for any of you again, no matter what happens. Get out of here immediately, and if you don't leave willingly, I will force you out. I saved your child, but instead of rewarding me, you keep making demands from me." So the green dragon replies, "You must understand your position compared to us. If you want to fight, let's go outside and start. I will torture you and force you to carry out our demands." After that, the two of them go outside, and the green dragon transforms into his real form. So Earth says to himself, "I told the red dragon not to tell anyone, because I want to live in peace, and they promised me, but they broke their promise now. From their point of view, humans are supposed to do everything they want, and honestly, I'm fed up with their behavior." Earth takes out his bow and arrow and shoots a wind magic arrow at him, but it has no effect on the dragon at all, and quickly the dragon raises his hand and brings it down on him. But Earth manages to dodge the attack and steps back, but the dragon doesn't leave him and jumps on him, and hits him hard and knocks him to the ground. Earth gets up from the ground, and throws at him using the twin arrows skill, but the dragon is still not affected by his attacks, and Earth stands shocked not knowing what to do, so the dragon laughs at him, and tells him dragon scales are not easily penetrated, and charges at him quickly and strikes him, but Earth blocks it using his shield, to the point that his shield breaks afterward. Earth gets up angry, and tells him this isn't over yet, and takes out a healing potion and throws it on himself. And at the same time, the green dragon prepares to attack Earth with fire from his mouth, so Earth takes advantage of the situation and jumps at him and throws explosive oils into his mouth. And a huge explosion happens to the point that it affects him as well, and he almost dies. He takes advantage of the dragon being in severe pain, and takes out his bow and shoots him with an arrow, and uses the falling 7 stars skill that Earth got from the queen. So the dragon is shocked and tells him, but that skill is only for fairies. And suddenly he sees 7 massive stars exploding on him. So Earth stands watching and thinks he has already won. But suddenly the dragon comes out of the smoke still alive, and tells him, "You will regret what you did," and jumps into the air and throws a massive amount of wind at him, to the point that it lifts everything around, and he thinks he has already defeated him. But at the same time Earth is hiding behind a rock, and says, "I only have one chance, but I will have to lose my bow forever." And Earth stands and activates his second skill that he got from the queen, which is the sacrifice bow, and points the arrow at him, and tells him even a dragon won't be able to block a strike like this. So he replies, "If you fire a strike like this, you will die with it too." But Earth doesn't care about his words, and fires the arrow at him. The dragon tries to use his wind power to block the attack, but the arrow is far stronger than expected, and pierces the defense and creates a huge hole in the dragon's body. And after that Earth's bow disappears, but the dragon still doesn't die completely, and is still moving while helpless. So Earth takes out all the explosive oils he has and throws them all at him. After a while, the dragon's body appears torn into pieces, and at the same time Earth looks at his own dead body on the ground, and says, "I think I died too. I will wait 2 minutes and return to the last point I saved at." But suddenly he sees 3 dragons coming to the place. So Earth asks himself, are they coming to revive the green dragon? But the surprise is that one of those dragons goes to Earth's body and revives him instead. Earth wakes up again and asks them, "Why are you reviving me instead of your companion?" So he replies, "I apologize to you for what happened. The dragon you killed was the great green dragon. I knew he had become very arrogant and was treating others badly. And I also knew that he threatened the fairy queen to issue an order for your arrest. And if she didn't do that, he would attack humans and fairies." So Earth realizes that the queen was trying to protect her kingdom and didn't intend to hurt him. The dragon continues speaking, "And we came here to punish him, but we found that you managed to defeat him, and honestly I am impressed by your strength. I will give you a reward for the food you made." And he gives him an armor made of dragon skin, and also a strange bow. So Earth tells him, "But I can't see it or know its power." So the dragon replies, "This bow belongs to a fairy who faced me in battle before. It is a strange weapon you won't be able to see unless you fulfill its conditions first. You might not be able to use it now, but I'm sure you will be able to use it someday." And Earth thanks him and they leave immediately. Earth falls to the ground not believing what happened. And after that he calls the bird to take him to the castle, and to apologize to the queen for what happened. After a while Earth arrives at the castle, and learns from the servants that the queen went into a state of shock after she saw him angry at her. And the maid warns him to deal with her gently so no problem happens. So Earth calls out to the queen. So the queen looks at him and becomes happy that he returned and apologizes to him for arresting him. So Earth tells her, "I know everything. I came here because I am the one who should apologize to you." But the queen insists that he asks for anything so she can do it. So he replies honestly, "I want you to remove the ring from my hand, because I don't want to take advantage of the special treatment you gave me." You know that I don't like drawing attention. So the queen gets closer to him, and tells him I'm sorry for all the problems I put you in, and holds his hand and removes the power of the ring, and asks him to come visit her someday. So Earth promises her and leaves.